3, 2, 1.
Hello, happy Friday, and welcome to Friday Night Files. If you're watching this, it'll be on Dogman Teepee Hunting on YouTube. If you're listening to this, it'll be on the Interdimensional Voyagers podcast. Thank you for joining us. I hope you had a great week. It's been a cold, really, really cold week. Yeah, it's winter's definitely here now, which is not great, really. Don't like the cold, don't get on with it. Upsets me dodgy leg. Not great at all, really. Yeah, everything just like I don't know, as you get older, everything gets like kind of just stiffer. You know, but yeah, don't read too much into that. But yeah, you know what I mean. Just gets a bit kind of achy and a bit harder to get up in the morning and right, okay. Anyway, I'm gonna bring up Natalie first off and see what she's been up to. Hello.
You're
How are
right.
you, mate? Yeah, good. Good. I'll swap us round because I've got the comments that side. That's it. Yeah, there you go. You're nice and clear now. I like being hidden up by
I
the
was going to
comments.
say, it's like, do you really want to be clear? I've got woolly hat hair at the moment because I've been wearing a hat all day because I've been outside with the horses.
Oh, right.
It was trying to get it to look like, and I was like, I give up. It's just doing its own thing.
That looks all right. No, the
But,
drag through a bush backwards look is all right.
yeah, I was going to say it's in this season, I reckon. As long as the horses literally don't drag me through the hedge backwards, because that was just one idea too many for them, I think.
Yeah. No, you look lovely. You look lovely.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
It's yeah, it's me I have problems with, it's but yeah, other than that, yeah, no, it's been a bit of a funny old week for me, I must admit. It's been sort of quite busy at work, and I was like perusing social media as you do, and blimey, well, there's an awful lot going on. There's a lot of people up in arms. They're going crazy, you know, so especially the UFO bunch going absolutely nutty because there's this guy who said he found a UFO, which was he found it in a desert in the States, and it was looked like basically a a, 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 a cylinder, you know, and yeah, he then sort of started drilling into it, and then he said that, you know, this blue light appeared and it was an alien, and then he kind of passed away and no one could find him, and everyone was wondering if he's okay, and then he came back, I think out of shame, and said that
Oh, shame.
yeah, he said, oh, by the way, you know, it's all a hoax. And seriously. So yeah, I had that going on. Then Free Eye Atlas with NASA. Did you see that? That was like what the hell? Because everyone's been like waiting for the images of NASA to sort of get released to see, you know, because they've got state of the art equipment. You know, I
Was
mean,
that the weird? Yeah, it was that the weird little pixelated images.
that's the one.
Yeah,
With
because
their
I
state of the art
I saw
equipment.
on the UK MUFON that there was somebody put like these 3 little images that looked like worse than what even I would get on my phone,
Yeah.
and that's saying something. And yeah,
Yeah.
compared to like the sort of like home astronomers and some of their images, and they were just like basically like 5 pixels, weren't they? Of like
Yeah.
different coloured lights.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
home astronomers, their captures are 10 times better than NASA's,
Yeah.
and you know their equipment's thousands of pounds, and NASA is like they got billions to spend on their equipment, but they just give us a load of old twaddle, really.
Yeah, it is a little bit strange, that one is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 'cause
So
at first I
I
thought
thought,
it was a hoax when I read the article, because I thought, "Oh, you know, this is an AI generated article," but then when I actually read it, I was like, "Oh, those
yeah,
are the NASA images, not the other way around."
yeah, yeah. That's it exactly. It's like you just think to yourself, oh, you know, what are they playing at? You know, it's a oddest thing. But I've got my own ideas on that Free Eye Atlas anyway, because they gave a definitive. It's a comet. You know, it's a comet. That's what it is. It's nothing else. It's a comet. But I've got my own ideas on it. But
They probably lost the images from it, like they did with the moon landing recordings. They probably lost
I
the
know. Can you
images.
believe that? I mean, that's incredible. And I still can't believe. Yeah, we lost
We're
them.
like, "Quick, set up a light and take a blurry photo. That'll do. Shove it out."
Yeah, just shove it out.
It's
Can you
like,
believe? Like, I mean, you know, it's one of the biggest things in the history of mankind. You know, we got to the moon, we landed on the moon, and oh yeah, well, I don't know where they went. Misplaced them. Can't
yeah,
find them now.
happens a
Yeah,
lot. Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Bit
happened a
odd,
lot.
isn't it? But I'll tell you who knows more than anything about all of this lot, and that is our guest, Chris Machin, and he's was part of CE5 group. They're the ones which they go out and they actively kind of try and connect with the aliens and bring the aliens down and UFOs and stuff, you know. I've never actually been. I was invited by Chris, but my car broke down.
Did you have lost time as well while you were?
Oh, I'll tell you, Natalie, it was an absolute ball ache. I was like, what? Yeah, it just, you know, it cost the earth because cars do, don't they, as well? I was like, anything goes wrong, it's like, oh, really? So yeah, so I'll bring him on anyway. Let's have a look. Hello, Chris.
Hi, Phil. Hi, Natalie.
Hello.
You right?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, all good, all good. Thank you, mate. Just saying, are you still part of CE5 group?
Yeah, we the last time we went out was probably about 2 months ago now. We're bound by the weather. We don't go out in bad weather. It's pointless. You just end up soaking wet, and it's not very comfortable. You sat there trying to meditate in a field when it's chucking it down. It's not much fun. So the past couple of months have been quite difficult. But we're all of us. We're quite active anyway, and we get quite a lot of experiences around the house. and locally to where we are. My wife and I had an experience only a few weeks ago in the bedroom, and I was talking to
Hang on
her.
a minute. Hang on, it's not that sort of program. It's not that sort of program, mate.
No. So I was talking to my wife at the end of the bed. It was about 9 o'clock at night,
Right.
and it was very bizarre because we see like it looked like a little tiny fly. It very slowly flew in between us, and it lit. All of a sudden, it lit the whole room up. It just lit. It just lit the whole room up. It was that close to my missus. She went to catch it, and it just vanished. It just went out like a light. So we don't have to go out for the experiences. I think all of us, not just Jade and me, have got to the point that this stuff follows you around.
Mm.
If you interact with it and you try and interact with it in a positive way, whether it be orbs or energy or poltergeists or whatever, if you interact with that and try and be as positive as possible, you actually invite it into your life. You invite it into your life, and it's there. It's always there. You have some really, really bizarre experiences at home, but that's not just me either. That's the whole group. Everyone in the group has reported glowing blue orbs in the house, or things that will go missing that will never ever usually go missing and turn up in the most random of places with no explanation whatsoever. Go and lay down, excuse me. So we're still active. We don't go out much, but tomorrow evening I've arranged a small remote viewing workshop to run over a couple of weeks. It's just something to keep us active during the winter months,
That's that telekinetic. That not telekinesis, is it? That's because I think I signed up for that, didn't I?
I think so.
That's the one where you got the cards and the numbers.
I'll send reminders in the morning. So what I've done, I've created 20 completely random images and attached 20 completely different 6-digit numbers to the images. So tomorrow, I think there's part of the group's going to have hangout anyway, which I've invited anyone that wants to jump on for the remote viewing. You're more than welcome to come and join us. I shall release the numbers tomorrow. Anybody that wants to take part and can't get onto the hangout, I'll send you private message you the numbers. You pick a number, you go and meditate and have a think about what picture is behind that number. You get yourself a pencil and paper, just write down anything that comes to mind, whether it be numbers or objects or shapes or absolutely anything. And then once you're done, once you've got enough information, if you send me that back, I'll send you then the picture that the numbers attached to, and see if we can get a match.
Okay, are you gonna play it where you're gonna send out the answers, the pictures?
Oh yeah.
All at one go, all in one go.
Yes.
To
I'm giving 2 weeks from tomorrow, so I think it's the 6th of December. Around about the 6th of December, I shall release all the numbers anyway. I shall release all the pictures with all the numbers anyway. And if there's enough interest, then maybe we'll do another workshop in the new year. But there's quite a bit of interest. I was actually the original idea was for our group. There's only 5 of us, but I've put it out across several groups. I've invited people that may be interested, and we've got quite a positive. I think there's 20 signed up for it. I don't think everyone's going to turn up, but I think there's 20 or so people that are going to go away in the next 2 weeks and try and have a go at this.
Yeah, I'm one. I signed up for it. You should give it a go as well, Nat.
I can try. I'm not very good at that kind of thing, but I can have a go.
There's no sort of good or bad. It's just like, think of an image, isn't it? I suppose that.
There's no prize, but then there's no. This isn't for a study or anything like that. this was genuinely our group. We've got a very good bond, our CE5 group, and what we try and keep that bond over the winter months when you're not together. So we'll have hangouts, and we'd sometimes meet up for a coffee, or we try and we can't do the C5, but the group cohesion is so important for the contact experiences to work. If you've not got that cohesion, it just doesn't work. You walk into a group of, especially if you walk into a group of strangers to do C5 for the very first time, chances are you're not going to see nothing. Like, you're going to go away disappointed. You need to build up the group cohesion. You need to be friends. You need to be, sharing food and sharing stories, and nobody with no beef. You can't have no beef on a night out. You can't be upset with someone on a night out, or or falling out with, I'm not going because he's going, or I'm not talking to him when we're there. It just ruins the atmosphere. But our group, we're very, very lucky with our group. We've all become quite close friends, and it just started out of that, But I'll send Phil a reminder in the morning. And if you're more than welcome to have a go, or not have a go, just have a look, or even just follow the story.
Have you chosen these images? Are they like abstract images, or
No,
are they...
they're completely random. What I should do tomorrow morning, I've got an example image. So the image, they're not exact real life. They are AI generated, but they're going to have about 5 or 6 specific features in each picture. Not much more than that. Yeah. So you're going to be looking at the test photo is of Paris. It's an aerial view of Paris. So you've got the Eiffel Tower, you've got the arch, you've got the birds in the sky, you've got a busy city. Yeah. So there's your 5. You've got 5 main features there. It's not too. You're not. We're not looking inside a clock or anything like that, where there's millions of bits.
No, I thought it's going to be like the images where you get like in the Greek like psi, where it's like kind of wavy lines, and then you get a triangle, and then you get a square, and
center cards. Yeah, no. It's completely different images. There might be an office. There might be a desk. There could be an outdoor. There might be something from in space. They're all completely different.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay then. Sounds good. It's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting. It'll be well worth it. It'll be interesting to see what the results are. See how accurate, percentage wise, people get right on that. Yeah. No, I'm definitely up for that. So you're going to release the numbers tomorrow?
Tomorrow, 6 o'clock.
Excellent. All right, I'll choose one. Okay, I'll tell you who'd be good for that as well. Keith Ashton. He's I don't know. The guy's got a gift. I'm sure he has. He's one of these people that seem to have a gift for knowing stuff. Yeah. I'll pass it on to him as well.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Yeah. Anyone that's interested, there's no limit. It's the first time we've done this. So I didn't want to, I'm a member of about 180 UFO groups, and I've only posted on, I think it's 3, and I've got a response of 20. One of the groups has got 180,000 people on it, and I'm like, wow. I haven't got the time to go over 180,000 comparisons. I just haven't,
Yeah.
So I thought I'd keep it low key, and if there is some form of interest in it, then I would think about making like a little breakaway Facebook group where I could put pictures out once a fortnight or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds cool. That sounds cool. Yeah, and prizes as well.
Some vintage champagne for you all.
Yeah. Bit of Bollinger. Lovely. Yeah.
Have you actually tried remote viewing yourself then before, or
Yes.
or is this just an idea?
No, I've done it myself a few years ago, and I won't. It would take me all night to explain it, but the imagery that I got It took me quite a long time to get it, but it was so scarily accurate. It was frighteningly accurate. But there was a lot of factors in it. It wasn't part of a shall we say, like an experiment or a pleasant experience. It was something that I had to do. I was looking for something. So and I found it.
Oh, cool.
It took me 10 years to find it. Yeah, I found it. And it was through mainly through the last piece, the remote viewing is of the place. But it wasn't, how can I put it? It wasn't, I didn't have a number. I didn't have any coordinates. I didn't have anything. And this thing could have been in Manchester or the south of Spain.
Right.
It turned up in Manchester, which I thought, that was one of the places in Staley Bridge, which was, I drew a bridge. There was a bridge in amongst this, which was Staley Bridge, and the steps, millions of concrete steps, which was where I found that. So yeah, no, I've had a go, but it wasn't. It certainly wasn't professionally. It wasn't for secret services or anything. It was something that I'd done myself out of pure obsession.
Right.
Okay.
Did you have it in your mind? Did you know did you have an idea of what you wanted to find?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. And we found it. It was a house. It was a house. It was a specific house. So we found it, and it was for a court case. Somebody had done me some really, really not good stuff, done a runner, and I could not find them. They weren't showing on electoral rolls. The solicitor couldn't find them. The police couldn't give me any information. But when we found out, they had no information anyway, because this person hadn't done anything to warrant any police interaction. I was looking for a ghost, literally, and found it. And found it. Yeah,
Wow.
That's crazy.
out of pure
Yeah.
obsession and not wanting to give up. And if we didn't get the lucky break we did until I think it was 2017, I would still be doing it now. I would still be looking now. So I don't know if it was I feel it worked because all the stuff was so accurate. When we found the property, it had all the concrete steps. It had the stairs in the middle of the house where I said they were going to be, not at the side of the house. They had stairs, concrete steps going down the side of the house, going down onto the next level, it was just bizarre. I see these concrete stairs everywhere for whatever reason, and the bridge and this hill. It's a really, really steep hill. And it all fit. It was when we found the house, it was there. It was everything. It was almost like I'd been there. I'd already been there. It was really bizarre.
When you're remote viewing, are the different ways of doing it, like, because some people sort of imagine traveling out of body and going physically,
Yes.
to the place, or is it like a psychic impression where you just sort of tune in and then sort of see what comes up, or does it depend?
I think it's down to the individual. I think you could do both. I mean, at the time I was so desperate, I was trying almost like the out of body experience thing, which I love. Actually, do you do astral plane workshop or not? Oh, you must try it. If you can get there, it's one of the most surreal experiences you'll ever experience. They're really, really pleasant, but very, very bizarre experiences. But I was using
pleasant but bizarre.
Yeah, it's
just a combination of descriptive words, isn't it? Pleasantly bizarre.
Yeah, it is. It's how can I put it? You never, you're always in control, and the second you open your eyes, wherever you are in the universe, you're going to be back in your body. You're not going to lose that. But while you're out exploring, you've got this constant urge to, oh shit, I need to get back. I need to get back in case I'm too far from my body, sort of thing. You really have got that. If you can let go of that, you have some really, really, really good times. But I tried that. But I think in general, a number or coordinates are given to somebody, and they will write, or I don't think they disconnect fully, like out of body experience, to do that. They will get these sort of visions come to them, of shapes, objects, places, words, colors, descriptive things that they then write down. What happens then, I think, please don't quote me on this, it's never just one remote viewer. You'll have teams of them. You'll have 3 or 4 teams all over the place, remote viewing the same object or place. And then what they do, they'll get the results as a collective. Then they're looking for the majority of the results to be similar. And that's the outcome that they would go. So it's more of a probability exercise, more than a psychic exercise. To the individual, it would be like almost like a psychic or out of body experience. But to the assessor or to the person gathering the information, all it is a probability exercise.
Yes, I suppose the more people that come up with the similar thing, the more likely it is to sort of have some. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. I don't know. I'll have to have a go then. I'm not.
I wouldn't know where to start. For a lay person, what would be the nearest that you know? I mean, you obviously went through some sort of training or honing yourself to reach that point where you were able to astral plane. What can you tell me that it would be the closest like? And I'll give you for example, maybe if I'm dreaming and I got that in between stage, which very often happens, where I kind of like wake up, but I'm not.
Well, yeah, no, it's out of body experience sits, I think, around about your lucid dreaming area. You certainly couldn't do it, I don't think, in control of it anyway. If you was asleep, you have to be in like a meditative state to actually do it. I was very young when it happened. It was I'll save the story for another day, but I've had out of body experience since I was about 7 years old. Wow. And over the years, you sort of when it first happened, you have no control over it. It just happens. Then as soon as like you open your eyes, I remember opening my eyes thinking, shit, what was that like? I was just fucking looking at myself, I was just looking at myself from the other side of the room, like what happened there, sort of. And then over the years, as it sort of happened, you sort of gain a little bit more confidence each time that you're going to come back anyway. So you think, do you know what? I'm laid in bed and like my mind is literally detached from my body. Let's go and explore, which I did do. So I had a lot of fun doing it. So over the years, and I didn't even know what it was called then. It weren't until about 10 years ago I heard somebody call astral plane. And then when
How old were you then? How old were you, Chris?
I was about 7 when it started, Phil.
Right. Okay. And you have to be in bed, do you? You have to be asleep?
No. There's a bit of. I mean, if you're all right for 5 minutes, I can give you a quick rundown. When I was about 7, I was put onto the GATE program, the Gifted and Talented Education Program in the UK. I was supposed to be moved forward 2 years, but they moved me forward 1 year. They allowed me access to all the computer room, and I remember a woman. She come in. I don't know. I only see her a few times. This woman, and she sat down with me, and she'd done these little tests with these earphones, and there were some Zena cards, a dice. She asked me to, it was bizarre, I remember it very clearly. She asked me to write a spell to try and make it rain outside.
No, right.
Yeah, so just,
I was quite random, isn't it?
Honestly, I remember it so clearly. And she gave me this little, she had this little beaker, this pink drink. And I remember having the pink drink. We went outside in the mornings with the rain spell for about 3 days, and then I never saw the woman again. But after that, I was allowed access to all the computer rooms, to the music rooms. At break times, I could go and play pianos, all the musical instruments that I wanted. And it was just around that time, that I had my first out-of-body experience. Now, when I found other gay children that had, or so they're adults now, other people that have been on the GATE program as a child, every single one of them's got the same experience. They all started getting out-of-body experiences or extremely lucid dreams where they could fly around about 7 years old and after drinking the pink drink.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I know in America they've got like the gifted programs that have had similar stories, but I didn't realize the UK had something.
They certainly did, and I'm in contact with everyone that was in that group.
Wow.
So it wasn't just me. There was Christopher Harvey, Jan Maharam, there was Sarah Jane, Robert Mason, Tony Packham, Craig Baker. In total, now that was, I think, 2 of them left. They were in the GATE program as I come up into the junior school in 1983. At the time, they were using BBC computers. The Americans had, the Americans had Apple computers, and we had the BBC computers. And then I remember as Craig and Chris Harvey left, I had 1 year with the Apple computers. And we played. All we played was strategy games. But by the time I was 8 years old, I could program one of them computers.
Wow.
Yeah, straight up. And I went on. I can play 9 different musical instruments fluently, read or write music. I'm a suspected polymath. I know huge range of subjects, but I'm not the only one. Everyone that was on the GATE program is very similar, and they're all autistic. Everyone,
that's no surprise.
No, they're all on the spectrum. So,
yeah. So you think the pink stuff had some effect then, and just opened up more?
I think that was. I think it was to calcify your pineal gland. I actually think it was to actually slow you down. It wasn't to help you. And that's hundreds of people have said that on the Facebook group that I'm on. After they had the pink drink, it was like they almost slowed down. It stunted you. It done something to your sparkle, like.
Okay.
It done something, and it was quite funny because I'm ADHD. I've got ADHD as well. I'm really bad, but I showed no signs of that whatsoever until after that period. So I was about 8 years old when the ADHD come out, and certainly after the drink, not before it. I was autistic, 100%. I was a little autistic kid. I was very clever, very polite, but I didn't have any friends. I was never invited to party. Not that it ever bothered me whatsoever, being like that. I just didn't know any different, you know. And then after that, I remember my eating habits completely changed. All the typical ADHD stuff, the racing mind, the obsessive hobbies, and you're halfway through a conversation, you forget why you've even started the conversation, and that was around. It was around that time, about 8 years old. I remember noticing them things. I do remember a time when I could actually think.
So it's quite curious, really, that you've gone from being I don't know what the correct lingo is nowadays, but from sort of functional to struggling with your sort of like mental capabilities, but at the same time you're getting these other the more psychic experiences happening, or the out of body thing. So it's almost like it's disconnected you somehow, but connected one other bit that's gone off in a different direction.
You know what? I love that analogy. I've never even thought of that, but you are 100% right. That's a brilliant way of putting that. Yes, they seem to have disconnected me from the what I called the sparkle times, where it was just I remember when I was a kid, I looked at a piano once and I could play it.
Wow.
I looked at it. I looked at it. I would watch the music teacher. I could play a little bit of recorder. And the minute I found out where middle C was on the piano, it was just like lightning opened out in my brain, and I put my hands on the piano, and I could play what my music teacher had been playing. It was
That's
not a
definitely
problem.
gifted.
I was about 8 years old when that happened, you know.
Yeah, that's definitely gifted.
So yeah, and any musical instrument I put my hand to, I could just pick it up and play it. And you know, bar violin. My wife will not have a violin in this house. No way.
I was going to say, you must be the only person in the world that can play a recorder.
I can actually play it very, very well as well. So yeah, it was that.
Did you feel like over time whether your brain slowly caught up with itself then, or do you still feel that you're sort of a little bit split off and still struggling with the
No. So the only thing I really struggle with is writing. I'm terribly dyslexic. I'm just so terribly dyslexic. It was and it was missed when I was a kid, because I'm that type of dyslexic that when I make a mistake, I'll come away. When I look at that mistake again, I can see the spelling mistake.
Mm-hmm.
But it's while I'm writing, it just everything's a blur. And as when I proofread something, I was I could put a line through that, change that, so it never really looked like I was dyslexic. It was hidden, if you like. But I think they disconnected us from that somehow, some way, for whatever reason, and plugged us in, because every one of us has got a very keen interest in the UFO topic. Every one of us has got a keen interest in supernatural, paranormal aspects of life. And most of us, bar Robert Mason, are we're non-compliant to the system.
That's a very autistic way.
We've disconnected from this fucking matrix. Excuse my language. From the matrix, quite some time ago. I live in a different world. I live in. I given a good example. I've got a family member who I love dearly. But if I try and speak to her about what, it's not even what I know. It's the reality that I live in now, with the experiences and so on and so on. They shut down. They can't cope with it. They think I'm nuts. And a couple of days, we need to get you sectioned. Hello, sort of thing. And I think, like, you need to go and look in the mirror. Like, you know, I've done some homework to get to this point, there is. I'm not even sure we're ready for disclosure in any way. You know.
To be honest, it's like, I've been saying that kind of thing for a little while now. It's sort of like when you try and describe your reality, people just literally can't comprehend it.
They shut down.
Yeah. And when you've got multiple sort of dimensions and things intersecting, overlaying, interacting, coming in and out, and you're flipping through different sort of states of consciousness or awareness, and it's like trying to explain it to people. It just doesn't happen. That, like you say, they literally can't understand you. I mean, I've said to people before now, if I actually, I don't hide the things I've experienced, but if you actually try and describe it, if you actually went into a psychiatrist and described it literally without sort of censoring it a bit, you would be straight into it. Delusional psychosis, blah blah blah, and you're like, but you can't mistake it. It is like you can kind of tell the difference a lot of the time as well, between imagination and what's actually happening in front of you. And you just sort of, I don't know. I mean, is it taking you a while to sort of figure out one from the other, or have you always had that sort of understanding of it?
Yeah. So I've always seen things. This was my next. So when I went for my autism testing about 10 years ago, whenever it was, I had to go through a psychiatrist at the time. The testing was different. It's not it's not the same as it is now. I got put forward for testing. I'd done 2 tests, and then I spent some time with a psychologist. I think it was about 3 or 4 months. I was having a couple of weeks sessions, and each time I went in there, he would change the layout of the room, and he fucking done my head in. This guy, honestly, it's like, seriously, I get it. I get it. Yes. Like, you're annoying the shit out of me. You keep changing this room around. I don't know where I'm sitting. Fair enough. Like, can you please stop doing this? You know. He sat down. He said, so tell me about your sensory issues. I said, well, there's certain fabrics that I just like, coarse nylon, net curtain material. I can't touch that shit. I cannot. I just can't. I'd just burn. I'd have to wear gloves to touch it. Like, you know, there's certain things that I like, an oral stimulation around my gums and teeth. It's quite. It's that's quite an odd one. And then he said, "Do you see anything?" Which is the awkward one.
Yeah, that's that one.
I've seen activity all my life. I've seen weird energies, orbs, things in the sky that do right. So I've seen loads of weird stuff. And I said to him, yes. I was so reluctant because I know what I see. But at the time, I didn't have any evidence. And he would have put me under the tinfoil hat group, you know. So I said to him, which isn't a lie, I'm a synesthete. I do see shapes and numbers, especially when I'm very overloaded. So I sort of played it behind that curtain, if you like. I said every now and again I'll see orbs and shapes and colours, mainly the colour blue. I have just this mad affiliation with this blue energy stuff ever since I was a kid. It's like a blue color. And straight away he paused the autism test and screened me for paranoid schizophrenia. He stopped what he was doing and got the paranoid disorders thing out, which I showed completely negative for anyway. So that was it's on my medical notes as visual disturbances. But I sort of blagged it under the guise of I have synesthesia, or my senses do mess around like. So
you're very lucky then, really, that you were able to sort of alter your response to that somewhat.
That's just the weird thing with it. Every time my missus says to me, she always says to me, if you fell in shit, you come up smelling of roses every single time. And I say to her, I just don't know how that's physically possible, because I'm the clumsiest person you've ever met. I really am. I am like Mr. Magoo. Honestly, I am so clumsy. And I think it's something to do with that. It's the positive energy that I carry around. So sort of swings around quite a lot of the time.
No, that's interesting. So I take it they did diagnose you autistic in the end, even despite the slight diversion.
Yes, I've been diagnosed. I think it's about 10 years now. My wife and I have known each other since we were about 7 or 8 years old, and as soon as they started mentioning high functioning autism back in 2004, 5, 6. She looked at me one day and she said, "They are fucking talking about you. That's you." And I just would not have none of it for about 10 years. And then we was in the doctor one day and she said to the doctor, "Can you please screen him for ASD because of these particular traits?" She told us to go away and do this. It's like a test, psychologytools.com. It's 2 different tests. So we took the results back and they indicated heavily into the ASD range.
Is it the RADS-R one?
The RADS-R one, that's a new one now.
Or is that the newer one?
That's the new one. The one that I took was through. Yeah, it was. We done the test online with psychologytools.com. And that was in about 2017. I think the RADS test has been out for about 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah, it seems to be designed to make people crazy. If it makes you crazy, you're almost certainly autistic trying to answer the RADS-R. I don't know what they were thinking when they invented that.
It's a score out of about 160 in it.
It's nuts, but the questions themselves as well just drive you crazy because there's no context to them. So it's like you're like, well, what does this mean? I don't understand how I can say maybe, sometimes, all of the time. And it's like, when I was looking at it, it was like, do you do this? And it's like, I don't know, I live on my own. Has anyone called you blunt? And it's like, well, no, because I live on my own and I don't talk to anyone. So no one's ever said I was blunt. How do I know I'm blunt? And then I was like to ring up Mum, was like, I don't understand these questions. Literally. And then everyone was like, if you can't understand the questions, you're probably autistic. Because they're, because nobody else would question them. But yeah, no, it's because they have changed a lot of the assessment criteria now. It's not getting it better though, I don't think, in some ways.
No.
But yeah, no, I think you were lucky you got a test when you did, to be honest. But no. Is your wife neurodivergent as well, then, by any chance?
No, she's absolutely totally normal.
I was going to say that's a surprise because nearly always it's like magic.
She says she is, but I think she's on the spectrum deep down. But she's not. She wouldn't pass that. She wouldn't pass that test. No way.
I don't know. What were you doing over there, Phil? With whatever you were doing?
Yeah, Keith was telling me about Keith was telling me that he could see a shadow entity, like not a shadow entity. It was more like a shimmering behind me.
Oh, right.
And I thought it was just me. I felt it was a lot colder in here than it normally has been as well. And I asked what side it was on that he saw this shimmering behind me, and he said it was on this side, and that's the side I felt there was something there. I could feel, but because there's a window there, just there's a long window. I'm upstairs in the padded room, which is basically the bedroom, and but yeah, I could feel something over here myself, but I was facing forward and I just felt coldness and just like, you can feel like that scope of sepia where you can feel something like watching. But I don't know what it was. It wasn't like a Dogman or Janu. It was something else. I'm not sure what exactly it was, but that's why I broke out the K2 and the trimeter and stuff just to make sure if there was anything cropping up. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I can't feel it too much now. No, whatever it is, I don't think it's there anymore. But yeah, I could feel it. So I didn't mean to be rude, Chris. I was listening all the while.
No, it's really no problem, Phil. Nice, relaxed, chilled chat evening. It's really no problem.
I was listening. It's not a problem. And do you think it is possible for these people that say that they can project themselves and find out to see what Three Eye Atlas is? I saw an interview where a guy said, "Oh yeah," and there was a woman that said, they kind of like were there.
Was it the French guy, Phil, or not?
Yes, it was the French guy.
Oh my God, the French guy. He's like, I think so. The woman, I can't think of her name. She's a top remote viewer, isn't she?
Yeah.
She
top remote viewer,
she underplayed it and said, "Oh yeah, it's it could be alien, it could be a bloke." It really, really downplayed it, like, for a professional remote viewer. And this guy, this unheard of from France, remote viewed 40,000 pods with soldiers in that's going to potentially invade the next the next planet that upsets it or something. So it's like, fucking hell, like, but you should take that, think of it like this: when you get the remote viewing community is quite big on. I think they do a lot of missing persons cases and lots of bits and pieces. This Three Eye Atlas, we've had nearly 5 months now of knowing this is coming, and not one person from that remote viewing community has come forward and said, like, you know, there's a few of us have remote viewed this. We've sort of come up with this results. You know, nobody. It's been unusually quiet out of the community. I think this really did catch them by surprise. I don't think they knew this was coming. This 3i Atlas. I think it really caught them by surprise. The shutdown at NASA, I can't help but think that was completely deliberate because of the timing. And then the press release yesterday was so underwhelming. So you've got amateur astronomers taking ground-based telescope pictures of this thing that are better than what NASA have given yesterday. I get it. NASA is now it's been classed as an intelligence agency now in the past few months.
Yeah, that's
Gets
right.
it. Yeah, So we're definitely not going to see everything that comes out of there. No way. I get that. But to put something like that out, so pixelated and so it was just so amateurish.
That's a good word for it. Yeah, it's like somebody's went outside with their mobile phone and tried to take a photo of something in the sky.
You know, the amount of arguments I've had in the past couple of years on UFO communities, and I stick up for people with blurry photos. I do stick up for them. Some of the best encounters that we've ever had, we haven't been quick enough with them with our cameras. And you're going to get blurred. It takes time to focus in and message to get a good shot. You're pulling your camera out, and you can see somebody's gone or saying on the audio, "Shit, what is that?" And they're pulling their camera out really quick and getting a really blurry. They're the best ones. They're so genuine. They're better than a really good quality fake AI with some really crap. Like classical music over the back of it.
Yeah, I literally said that yesterday. I would believe a blurry photo over a clear one almost any day.
Absolutely.
And it's like when everyone says, "Oh, you know, we've got these modern phones that," and I was saying to Phil, it's like I can't even take a decent photo of my horse when he's standing in front of me with my modern camera on my phone. It takes about 4 seconds to focus all the different lenses and things, whereas my old like mobile phone, point and click and it was done. Whereas like, so I'm like, well, I could well believe that, you know, modern tech is not quick enough. And it's like, unless you're literally pointing at the thing as it happens, already focused, completely calm, because you've got, you know, your hand moves as well anyway when you've got a phone. And it's just like, yeah, and I think if somebody gave me a blurry photo and a clear one, I'd be more inclined to believe the blurry one.
Yes.
Yeah, especially if you've got the swearing in the background.
We've
like,
got.
What the hell? I've missed it, damn it.
I've got a cracking video from the last time we were out doing C5, and all 5 of us have got the same video. I think it was the night you was going to come with us and your car broke down, Phil. So we were about 3/4 of the way through the evening. We'd done a little bit. In fact, we didn't do a lot of meditation. We played the dog whistle quite a lot. And I heard my camera was down on one of the chairs. And I heard one of the guys in the background say, "Oh, shit, there's 3 of them." So I've run, picked my camera up. You can see it just really quickly catching these 3 objects. And there's 3 objects at an angle like this, going in a straight line like that for, oh God, they were in the sky about 5 or 6 minutes before they disappeared. And we do our homework with sky trackers and stuff like that. In fact, Starlink is in the background of the photo. So Starlink is in context, you can see Starlink in the background. That was a confirmed Starlink. It was a 10:15 Starlink with a number. So these 3 objects, whatever they were, they certainly were not Starlink, and they were very, very low. But it was just the fact that you've got all of us on audio saying, whoa, wow, shit, where have they come from? They're really bright, and whoa, you can hear everything, you know. Some of the videos you get online, you'll get like the Old Spice or Damien music behind it, some really weird like metal music behind it, and you can see it so clearly that it's been doctored. Them old blurry photos are the best. Like, you can see it, you can feel it, as oh wow, you know, like you can hear it in the audio, you can hear it in people's voices.
Yeah, especially
you know,
when you've got emotion involved as well, because like, you know, it's like, you know, with a lot of the sort of cryptids and the paranormal stuff, and everyone's like, why is your camera shaking? And it's like, because your adrenaline kicks in. It's like, unless you're sitting there cool as a cucumber, you know, it's you know, you're going to react to it.
It's very, very exciting when it happens. It's when the magic does happen, it is very, very exciting. But getting back to Three Eye Atlas, I don't think the story's over with that. I think the remote viewers, if they have done something with Three Eye Atlas, I think that it's been kept quiet. I think that might tie in with the shutdown and the crappy footage that NASA's given us. And they're waiting for this thing to move away from us completely before they start looking into the anomalies. I think so. It's make the public lose a little bit of interest by saying it's a comet, and then in about 6 months' time say, well, actually, that really was quite weird. You know, it's like the classic excuses like, these tests could take 2 years. Yeah, but well, it's only in the sky 3 months. Do you know what I mean? So, like, you know, and the test could take 2 years. That thing's. I think we done a trajectory of it through. I done it through an AI. I asked an AI using all the information available online and coordinates, timeline. Can you work out where this thing has come from and where it is going afterwards? And I'd done it on Claude, and Claude said to me, it's come from the constellation of Sagittarius. It's been very, very close to where the whale signal was detected in 1977. So it's the same direction as sky, almost within a few degrees of where the whale signal came from, which is very interesting. I found that very interesting just in itself. Because it's the only wow signal they've ever found, SETI. And then you've got Three Eye Atlas coming from the same direction. That's interesting. I think it's too early to say whether that's anything more than coincidence, but still really, really interesting. And then it was going to do the little swing around our sun. And then, according to Claude, it was heading out into towards the center of the Milky Way, where if it doesn't come into too close proximity with any star's gravity or slow down and start getting caught up in gravity, it's expected to just literally sail through the galaxy for the rest of its life, as you know, and just keep going and going and going. But where has it come from? It come from constellation Sagittarius. That's all we do know. Very strange object.
I put up the one. Some of the images I would like to see would be from this place. It's basically the Vatican Observatory. Now, you don't often hear anything really from this place. It's got a state-of-the-art state-of-the-art observatory with telescopes. It's a really, you know, kind of, I would put it above, for ground-based telescopes, one of the best. It was started in 1582. And why it was started was back in the day, they were looking for the end times, if you like. So why it was created because they were looking for the star, the light bringer, waiting for him to come back to see. So they built this on Mount Graham to see if the light bringer was going to come back, to give them early warning. That's the whole reason. When they built it on Mount Graham, it was on ancient old Indian land.
Yep.
And there was a great controversy over this. They said, no, it's just ancient Indian land, which had a lot of stories attached to it, the Mount Graham. Anyway, they went ahead. They're the Vatican, aren't they? They went ahead and they built the, because it's a very black sky area. It's ideal for the observation of the skies. But their whole remit, still to this day, is to look at the sky, Earth-based telescope, to see what is coming. That's their whole remit. And you don't often find very much from these people. I always keep an eye on it used to be called Lucifer. That's what
right.
originally. That's what the telescope was called. And then they renamed it Lucy. Yeah, exactly.
Because that's not dodgy, is it?
It's a 72-inch f10 mirror. I'm not too au fait with telescopes. I wish I was, actually. It was fabricated at the Richard F. Karras Mirror Laboratory at the University of Arizona, the first mirror ever made using revolutionary spin casting and polishing technologies. There are now that are now used to make giant telescopes such as the LBT and the LSST and a giant Magellan telescope. So they were state-of-the-art technology they used. The Vatican Advanced Technology Telescope, VATT acronym, truly lives up to its name. Its heart is a 1.8 meter f10 honeycomb construction borosilicate primary mirror. It pioneered both the spin casting techniques and the stressed lap polishing techniques of that laboratory, which are now used for telescope mirrors up to 8.4 meters in diameter. So it's a real state-of-the-art mirror on this thing. They put, they don't have to worry about a buck or two. They can like put it in. The people that they have, let's have a look. About report the Vatican Advanced Telescope. Yeah, you don't even see it there. So it's a bit of kit. It's a multi-million-dollar astronomical research complex operated by the Vatican Observatory Research Group, VORG, in collaboration with the University of Arizona. The telescope is located on the southeastern Arizona, where sky conditions are among the best in the world for astronomical observations. So it's kind of, but you don't, if you like, their whole remit back in the day, and it still is today, to see what is coming, coming out of the black towards us. But you never ever see any images. I mean, they would be absolutely best placed coming up to December for Free Eye Atlas. I just wanted to share that because not a lot of people sort of like are aware of the Vatican's telescope. But
yeah, do you know what? I must dig out some of the research notes and send some stuff over to you, Phil. There was very recently. I've been watching. He's very controversial, but I find him extremely thorough on this whole topic. Is a philosopher called Jason Giorgiani, Dr. Jason Giorgiani. Now he covered something to do with the Lucifer telescope very recently, and he highlighted a couple of anomalies with where it is, what they're doing with the information there, they're sharing it between each other inside agencies, but we don't see everything that comes out of Lucifer. And I think he covers the only thing he hasn't covered yet, I think, is 3i Atlas, but it's still too early for someone like him to actually, he hasn't got all the facts. But what I'll do, I'll share, I've just shared some links with you on Facebook to have a look at his work. I must warn you, please try, if you do listen to this guy, try and be as politically neutral as humanly possible. He
Okay.
said some very, very controversial things about both sides. Okay, so he could really, really upset somebody's day from the right or from the left side. If you listen to him from a politically neutral standpoint and listen to him as a professor, as an overseer, he has no political standpoint, then you will understand him, and you it's the only way to, I think, to view this topic. We're looking at this through human eyes. Everything we're looking at is through human eyes, and it's quite likely what we're looking at isn't human. So so you need to take the political side of it, your emotional side out of the UAP topic, because like we look at animals on the Serengeti, so we're looking at a lion, he's just going to go and kill a baby deer, and there's to a vegetarian that's probably the most harrowing thing you could possibly see. However, that's not like that to the lion. That's not like that to the lion. In the lion's world, he needs something to eat. It's not like that in the deer's world. The deer needs something the deer needs to run if it's to survive. There is no good. We assign good and evil to everything. Yeah. If you listen to this particular philosopher, he doesn't sugarcoat things. Let's put it like that. There's no sugar.
Sounds interesting. I appreciate
very
that.
interesting, and he's opened my eyes massively in the past few months to possibilities that not only has NHI been with us for longer than probably humans have been alive, that their influence over us is almost total. Is almost total in every aspect, in our medical care, in our schools, in our political systems, in our churches, in our mosques, in our synagogues, in our wars. That this NHI has played a part in absolutely everything, for a particular reason, and he thinks that reason to us may seem absolutely horrifying, but to them is possibly a necessity. So like the lion, and we are the deer, by the way.
Right. Okay. All right. I don't think 3i Atlas is a spacecraft.
No, absolutely not. I think it's a strange comet. I think it's been made or forged, if you like, under completely different conditions. I think eventually the chemical composition of it is going to tell the truth, but it's just too early for that analysis to be fully completed. After 5 months, the materials analysis and the spectral analysis, they could take literally years to complete. So it's where everything at the moment is speculation. I think Avi Loeb's done the right thing. He's gone out of his way to highlight that one day we could be looking at a scenario where something is going to fly into our solar system that is not a comet.
Right. Okay. So if it's a comet, I don't think it's a comet either. So it's not a spacecraft and it's not a comet.
Are you thinking plasma based?
I'll tell you why I say it's not a comet. That's because it has got some very strange characteristics, very unusual characteristics. It's got some very unusual chemical makeup. Now, I get it when I saw was it Alan Cox? Was it? I've forgot his name now. That
Brian
scientist
Cox.
guy.
Brian Cox, isn't it?
Brian Cox. Sorry, yeah.
Brian
I don't know
Cox.
where Alan came from. Anyway, it wasn't you, was it? No, I wonder his name was Alan. No, Brian Cox was saying, because he was defending himself from Harvey Loeb because he was, they were kind of like throwing a bit of mud at each other.
Yes.
And I get it. I get what they're saying, but the one thing which we tend to forget, and that is that this thing was interacting with the sun, and the sun was interacting with it as well. It was also interacting with the Van Allen belt around Earth.
Interesting. Yeah.
Because I've done some digging around, and I thought, well, I'll get some information up. Took a lot of digging, but so we know the one thing that properties that it has got, which was plasma.
Yes.
A lot of it ionized plasma because of the dust, and it was negatively charged. Now, plasma is the fourth state of matter. Yeah, it's abundant. It's not that up in the universe. Forget material. Forget material as in planets and rocks, and there's nothing out there. But what is out there, 99.9% is plasma. It's abundant in the universe. Everywhere we look, stars are made of plasma.
Yes,
That's what's
yes.
most abundant. Okay.
I'm just sending you some plasma stuff that I've. And it's funny how these things come round. I've been looking at plasma-based objects in the past week. I'm just sending you all the plasma stuff now.
No, thank you. I wrote in my the Everything engine. I wrote about filaments, which intertwine together to create, like when you go into woods and forests, and people often see these Bigfoot and Janu, and they see a shimmering, and they see a Dogman, and next minute it's there, and next minute it's gone, and it's like kind of just morphed out, and it's because the filaments are binding one into another, because it's a complicated place. Imagine a game, and trying to write code for a forest is a lot more complicated than trying to write code for a bedroom.
Yeah, like a binary project, like a
So the filaments making this all together are a lot more complicated to fit together. Now, why I say that is because you often get plasma filaments that connect the universe together, like a cosmic web, if you like. We get plasma on Earth in a shape of, sometimes we get plasma balls, which people say, oh, it's an orb.
Yeah. We've seen stuff that could constitute, it's like anything we say that's like semi-formed. That's it's like a plasma state, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
describe
it. Yeah.
It's basic. It's basically it's very dynamic charged particles of gas, which has got a certain amount of electromagnetic and electricity, and they're sort of chasing each other's tail, if you like, around, and they interact with the environment, and they're susceptible to the environment, and they change. They've been in laboratory tests. They've been noted to almost have a consciousness about them. Plasma does. It almost has a universal consciousness. Now, if stars are made of it, what's to say that a star doesn't have a consciousness? Maybe it's just that we are unaware of this NHI being a consciousness that maybe is just so big that we can't comprehend it properly. And what they've sent, what has been sent, is almost like a probe. It is like a probe, but it's not a craft probe. It's a state of energy, of conscious, sentient, it's feeling, thinking energy in a state of plasma, the most abundant material there is in the universe, you know. And it's I don't know how far to go into this, but there's something which is called magnet hydrodynamics, which MHDs, which so basically speculatively the behavior observed in 3i Atlas, drawing on the concepts of organized plasma behavior, magnetohydrodynamics, MHD, and a hypothesis of plasma awareness detailed. And I sourced out some details. Okay. I'm not going to go too far into it because it really gets complicated, but basically long and short of it is plasma can and does and has been tested to have a state of reaction to an action. It learns. It's able to it's able to be and repeatably be tested for this. It has reactions and can be repeated, these reactions.
Have you seen the Project Unity that come out in the past few days?
Project what? Sorry?
Project Unity has just done a fully comprehensive episode on plasma beings that have been witnessed in the upper atmosphere. So years and years ago, NASA put a tether in space. It was one of their experiments.
Yes. I saw. I didn't see the documentary. No, I didn't see Project Unity, but I remember seeing that tether, and it was like these like jellyfish type things going on to that tether.
Exactly it. Well, that clip has resurfaced now. That's apparently it's been analysed by 40 universities across the world. They've, I think, in all their papers, they've categorized them as plasma beings that show signs of. So when you're looking at this, the screen, you would think you're looking under a microscope.
Yes.
The way these are behaving, they actually behave like microorganisms.
Now, I'm not sure if I'm right, but isn't that 5 miles long, that line as well? Something like that.
It's ridiculous. I think it might have even been 40, Phil. It is enormous. The plasma beings are said to be 1 kilometer across each. So 1,000 meters big each. So now, if that's 1,000 meters, that tether must be 40 miles long. It's got to be.
Now, plasmoids, and this is laboratory tested, okay? Plasmoids exhibit behaviors that mimic biological life, such as replication, splitting into smaller identical entities, and interacting with their environment in ways that look purposeful, including targeting and collision behaviors. Okay.
A little quantum mechanics set up in the big world.
Yeah, complex plasmoids such as those observed in Earth's thermosphere have shown seemingly purposeful motion, accelerating, slowing down, congregation between them, and engaging in, get this, hunter predatory behavior, suggesting a form of collective awareness of their environment. Okay, so this is all kind of, I was I've been thinking about it sort of for quite some time about plasma from the point of view of ghost hunting. I mean, Natalie, when you go ghost hunting and you often see ghost hunting, we saw an orb, and we saw, and I've videoed orbs before now, and people say it's a particle of dust.
Oh,
It's a dust particle.
Yeah, give you fucking headache, these people.
I don't think it all is a particle of dust. I've photographed there's one famous one. I've got a place I go to which I've got cameras in there. Now it's occupied, it's a house, it's occupied. It's called the Ellen's house. They go away like kind of for some time. When they do, I go into the place, I'm able to go in. I'd done a sort of a deal and said, look, I'll look after the place because they're worried it's right out in the sticks. I'll put up surveillance and equipment to make sure that nobody's able to rob the place or get in without, they would have to be, I don't know how, I put so much, I put thermal in there. I've got PIR detectors. I've got a whole load of cameras in there, but there's one section of the place where it's got a conservatory, and I keep getting shadow beings on video. I put them up on YouTube. I keep getting orbs, but these orbs are funny. These orbs, you can see faces in the orbs. They look like there's a face there, but not a human face. It's something like it's a funny, I don't know if I can get it out, but it's just a really weird thing. And I think a lot of these times, Natalie, when we go ghost hunting, we see orbs, I think they could be plasma based,
It's funny you say that, because with my old camera, they used to get the orb pictures on. Whenever I blew them up, I used to get faces in them. They were like little goblin faces or little impish faces, and some of them had teeth and stuff. And that's how I used to sort of try and distinguish between what I considered possibly to be an orb and what may just have been like you say, dust or light or whatever. And because those ones, when you blew them up, there was nothing there. But other ones, when you blew them up, it was very clear that there were little smiling faces in them. And that's how I used to tell. That was only with that one specific camera though, and it's so. My mobile phone's rubbish now because it doesn't seem to pick up on anything anymore. And it's but yeah, it's so yeah, you're not the only one that sort of sees faces and things. I've had photos with where you blow them up and you can see faces. So I used to sort of think of them more like they probably were orbs, if I could see faces in them. I know everyone goes on about pareidolia, but these faces were like repeatable. You'd start to recognize the different kinds. So the yellow orbs tended to have sort of more reptilian type faces with teeth, and then the little blue orbs usually had little sort of like goblin impish faces in them. And then you'd get some with like human faces, but most of them weren't humanoid. They were humanoid, but they weren't human faces. It was quite interesting until my computer blew up and I lost all the pictures, which was quite irritating. But yeah, so no, it could be. I've seen orbs with real eyes, with my eyes, like it's about 10-inch long, just in front of me, and I looked away and looked back again. So I'm like, when everyone goes, it's all dust, and I'm like, really? Because I wasn't even looking at it through a lens. I actually saw it. I was staring at it.
All dust. No way. No chance.
Yeah, one single piece of dust in one photo out of 15.
Yeah, no.
You're like, really? but yeah. So what was your point about 3i Atlas and the plasma film when you went off on a tangent?
Yeah, I do that, don't I? Yeah. My point is, I don't think it's a craft, and I don't think it's definitely not a craft, and I don't think it's entirely a comet. I really don't. I don't think it isn't a comet. I think it's got it interacts very. I think it's here because it is an information gatherer. I think it's mostly plasma. in origin, made of plasma, and I think it's got an agenda. I really do. I mean, I think it's when it goes, I think it will just feed back to, if you like, the universal thought,
where it's
or
come from, or where it's
yeah, exactly, and what is actually going on and what actually is here. So it's an information gatherer. I
Also,
I've,
I believe if you don't, I believe, just cutting in quickly, that also that a lot of the deception, this has a whiff of Project Bluebeam. It stinks of Project Bluebeam. I like to almost fake an alien invasion, or the potential of an alien invasion, to get the people stimulated for an event in the future that is inevitable. I think
yeah,
that's the deception. I mean, I at the moment, I do think it's a comet. I think it's a comet, and when they do the materials analysis, it's going to be of made up of stuff that just isn't in our solar system, you know. But that said, if I keep hearing that the downed UFO craft are literally conscious, that you interact with these craft consciously. So what's to say that they haven't been able to add consciousness as like an electromagnetic field to a lump of I don't know, frozen rock, you know?
yeah.
And
I
send
feel
as a messenger, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's been very thin on the ground when it comes to cryptids, especially with Dogman. And I think that whatever's happening, they knew about it first of all.
Yes,
All right, it's been very
without
thin on the
doubt.
ground. It's like, I mean, I remember going when I went to Cannock Chase with Colin earlier in the year. Twice we went to Cannock Chase, and it's almost you had pockets of where you could feel there was because I'm really good at I know when they're around, I can feel them, Dogman. But you had pockets where you know, okay, there's either residual or they're there, but they're way in the back. They're just watching. They're not, coming up very close this time round. But it almost feels like they knew. They were waiting. What I want to say is, what they are different. They are wary. They are not from ET. They're not from UFOs. And I think there is, whatever we're dealing with. I don't think it's ever been indigenous to Earth. People say, "Oh, we're aliens," and the NHI.
Oh
They're
no. This
I
stuff
don't think they
started
ever
on
were.
Mars. This is 100%. This has worked its way through the planets to here. This started on Mars, Phil. This is there's more and more evidence every single day that something was inhabited Mars at some point, and that either the nuclear radiation from the sun or a nuclear disaster on the planet finished them, and that they had to move. And this is, I think, this is so seared in. How can I put it? Like a collective distant memory that you can't remember it individually because you just weren't born, but in the collective memory somewhere that in backwards in time, a few billion years, we have come from somewhere else. We're not from here. As a species, we've been engineered bit by bit on this planet. And pieces of us, all of us, by the way, not just a few of us, it's every single one of us, have got we've got genes from elsewhere. Categorically, there's stuff they can't explain about our DNA unless you venture further afield and further back in time than the Earth goes. It's as simple as that.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Our history and our time is been masked, and it's like with. Do you know what I find so frustrating is there's so much speculation because we only know what we are fed.
Yes.
All the while, a 3i Atlas. How do we? If we lived in villages, you lived in a village up by Natalie. I live in a village down in Essex. We wouldn't know about 3i Atlas.
Oh no, no. We might not even know. I don't watch regular TV or news. So
No.
if I didn't have the internet, I would never have even heard of this.
No. And probably if we saw a light in the sky, I'd go running into my cave and start drawing it on a wall. That's what I'd do. I'd go, cool, it's a strange light. I'd go, but that would be the
down
news.
in a modern day journal, or you make a document of it. You document.
Yeah, that's the news. You know? But what I'm saying is the manipulation of those that are able to, you talking about Project Bluebeam, the manipulation of those in a position, before we go down the route of, we're not indigenous to Earth, or, we're made, before we go down that route, because that's another program entirely. That's a long one. But it's a case of people have to understand that whatever news we get is given to us. I haven't seen it. I can only believe. And people say, "Oh, you're a nut job. What are you talking about Dogman for?" You, I've seen Dogman, so I can believe in Dogman. I know you've seen UFOs. And I believe you that you saw those triangles. I believe you 100%, because you can tell by the way a person presents the account. A lot of times you can tell that. But other than that, the rest of it, I don't know, mate, because you don't, with Project Bluebeam, with what they tell us, how do we actually know? How do we know? I mean, I scour YouTube, I scour TikTok, but it's only what we're told, isn't it? We have to remember that.
We're under, again, I've been doing a research project for, it's months now, based on some research that I'd done a couple of years ago. On what I call the God King theory, and now how certain control systems, including the religious control system and the monetary control system, has been infiltrated from the start by an external influence right up until today. Now, that external influence, we can call it ET, NHI, you call it whatever you like. We just put that to one side for a minute. That every time that these interactions have taken place in history, just for a good example is the Jewish religion. So Moses had his encounter on Mount Sinai. He's come down. He's cast aside a set of people for worshipping a calf, and he's installed this system of worship to a singular God. It's as simple as that. And in that worship, you'll have a priest, a direct contact with God that nobody else is allowed. It's only that person. So you have to then speak to the rabbis and the priests to speak to this person who will speak to God on your behalf. It's a control system. You actually see it with money. All major Abrahamic religions, all religions where gold specifically is mentioned of value, which is almost every civilization on earth, independently, for no reason whatsoever, all of a sudden gold, which is the most useless building material on the planet, the softest, it's just, you can't chop trees down with a golden axe. The axe is going to bend. This stuff is fucking useless to Stone Age people, yet they valued it so much that it became our monetary system for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. I mess around with the stock markets myself. I trade gold myself. To this day, that came from the ancient Sumerian gods.
Yeah, but why? Why did it come from the ancient Sumerian gods? Why is it so coveted now? Why is it that these countries?
It introduces.
Why do they have these minerals like silver and gold?
It introduces control. It introduces a control method. So you introduce something of value that somebody hasn't got. Yeah. All of a sudden, that person wants that. they're willing to give their year's crops or whatever they're going to give, or a few donkeys or whatever, to get that stuff, and then which started trade. Then as soon as trade started with the gold, and you had something to trade with, and it needed to be controlled so as it couldn't be manipulated. So on every dollar bill, I bet you've heard of these old conspiracies. You've got the Eye of Horus, and you've got the pyramid, and you've got George Washington. You've got all these Masonic symbols, and it all looks. Would you like me to explain that very, very simply?
Yeah, go on.
You've got 13 steps on the pyramid on the dollar bill. Yeah. I think the top step's the actual Eye of Horus, which indicates there is a divine presence overlooking the pyramid structure of hierarchical control. So at the bottom of the pyramid, you've got the masses. You've got masses and masses of bricks. The next level up is your local little businesses. Your next level up is your big businesses. Your next level up is your politicians, and it goes right up into this. And on the dollar bill, the top brick is missing, and the Eye of Horus floats free. Yeah. It indicates that each transaction that you make, it goes is a ritual where you promise to pay the bearer, which is being overseen by an entity, by God.
Yeah, that's right. The ladder would be the equivalent of Jacob's ladder.
It introduced a control system. The original control system before religion was the introduction of the value of gold, which the pharaohs went mad over. The Hebrew people, their Ark of the Covenant, all their stuff, all their menorahs, they were made of gold, and so on and so on and so on down the ages. Because gold, before about 100 years ago, was probably the most useless material to us on the planet.
Yeah, I mean it's got some properties of it's very conductive. It's
all useless before about 1800, Phil.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, but you see, with money, like you said, I promised to pay the bearer, blah blah blah. So you got money. Monetary system can collapse, does collapse because of if they need more money in circulation, they can print more money. If they print more money in circulation, it has less value. Yeah, that's right. It has less value. But the one thing that all these countries have, which give them value, is minerals. Minerals are the one thing which is their backup. That is what gives them their monetary.
If that's correct, Phil. If you don't, I don't mean to be contradictory, but why were they so valuable in the year 1000?
Why did what? Sorry.
Why were they so valuable in the year 1000? If they were built on oil, if it's built on natural resources, commodities, gas, and the trading and that, what made gold so valuable 1,000 years ago? Before that, before we'd even found oil, before we'd even looked at engines and cars and stock markets, and what was the intrinsic value of gold? There is none.
Well, the one intrinsic value is
it's a belief system. You believe.
No, well, there's also the practicality as well, Chris. You have to find the gold seam. You have to dig the bugger out. So it's the rarity.
Absolutely, completely. How can I put it? Like unnecessary for the ancient people who are already struggling to find a meal, to look at their farms. Why on earth would they spend their spare time risking their lives looking for gold seams? It just doesn't make sense unless
it doesn't make sense
unless it was introduced as a belief, like a religious control system is based on belief. Money is based on the belief. You believe it's worth the value that it is, and the person you pay believes that and trust that you're going to pay it. Trust and believe on every single note. It's a belief. The money system is a belief system, and it was the first belief system before religion. way before the pharaohs.
Like you see, I mean, because of its rarity, that alone gives it its value. Because of its rarity, because of
What
the
about the
difficult,
ancients?
because it's difficult to get. It's difficult to get yourself. You can't. It's like, you know. And I'm not going to say the C word. I'm not going to say the C word because I'll get struck. But during the 2019, 2020, everyone, you know, toilet rolls. Yeah, I would have
Oh, they become a
probably.
commodity, didn't they?
Yeah, they
That was
were a
that was
high
ridiculous.
commodity because they weren't around. And if they were around, people would be just like shoveling them up and like, yeah, we need them. Yeah, we need them. So it's all a kind of a case of, if it's rare, it's going to be worth more. Gold in itself is the commodity which gold, silver is the commodities which is the backbone of somebody's financial, or a country's
That's
financial
fine. You have to
standing.
work for it. You have to
Years
put.
ago, they used to have gold. Do you know churches? When you go into a church, there's only a couple that I know now where they've been kind of like, you can still see flakes of gold on the wall, because churches used to be really brightly colored. You walk into a church and it would be the colors of spring, the yellows, greens,
White,
by the altar,
yeah,
lots of
beautiful
whites, yeah,
windows and
lots of gold, very, very bright, not the dour things they were, you know, are now, very, very bright. And we're talking, you know, parish churches, you know, and a lot of gold by the altar, because it was it showed veneration. It showed a place of, you know, if you venerate that altar, it too will share in its wealth. You know, it's somewhere which is special.
so
It's
you
special
see
because
that
it's gold.
the gold is also heavily associated with the wealthy, gold, kings, and gods. You've just said it
Yeah.
yourself. It's all related there,
I
and
was
that's
going to say, is gold like the original color of whatever entity originated from, and therefore it's just literally the color that the thing was?
it's the. I think it was based on the sun at the time, likely, especially with the pharaohs. They would have based it like it's the same color as the sun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gold, it's like a golden sun. But before that, the Sumerian. There is. I see something recently while I was doing this research that the Sumerians they were mining gold for the living gods that were living among them. The gold, they think that these gods needed it for their atmosphere, or they needed to take this gold or part of this gold away to wherever they're from, to shield them from radiation. And even recent years, they've actually discussed putting gold atoms in the atmosphere to deflect radiation from global warming. With gold particles, you could actually induce an ice age, I would imagine. And that's where the stories came from. And that's where they think that the value came from. Exactly what you've just said, Phil. The people that mined it, they mined it unnecessarily to their needs. So it was a real issue to them, probably akin to slave labor now, which they put the value to gold on the back of this for the gods, for their gods, or whoever they called their gods, their Anunnaki, or whoever their gods they were. The Egyptians adopted this. The Egyptians adopted this. It was related to the kings, the wealthy, and it was off the backs of the poor.
So you're saying, like, in a weird kind of way, say fossil memory, that humans were here, but there are also gods. So gold was important because it was important to the gods, not the people. And when the gods left, the gold still continued with the importance.
Yes, yes.
Is that what you're saying?
It was left through. So the kings, the wealthy, see the importance of this. They see the the emotion, the raw emotion people were put into the mining of this totally fucking unnecessarily material at the time. These people were more focused on living, farming, looking after their cattle, looking after their crops. And seemingly they was made to go out and look for this completely useless material for somebody that was above them from somewhere else. Whoever
Chris,
these, yeah.
how about if I show you something? All right.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
how
please.
about if I show you that it wasn't just the case that, you know, it was they adorned things with gold and held it in reverence. It was also they held it in reverence because a lot of the beings they saw, be it angels or other beings, would be gold. They would be silver. They would be gold, glistening gold color. Let me show you something that I captured once. Okay, I'll show you on video. All right, and then you make up your mind what you think. Okay, I was just out in the woods with my dog. Okay, 2 dogs, right, and right, let's get it up. I'll show you and see what you make of it. Boop, 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 bump, bump. Right, here we go. Play it. Nothing there, okay?
Yep.
Now, I was just shooting the deer. I wasn't looking for anything. I was just shooting the deer. Right. Saw something large, like coming out of the woods, but it was going towards something. Matter of seconds, I done that second video, and the deer started moving away from this entity. There. You see that?
Yep.
Wasn't there before, and the deer saw it and just started moving away. And that's a gold coloured, I'm not sure, entity.
So a lot of what we've been looking at is it's speculation grounded with some archaeological evidence, if that makes sense. So it could be that they were looking at golden orbs, they were looking at the sun. They made these links with colors that they see this was an easy malleable metal that never rusted, or that maybe they could see properties of it, but it's the god king theory. There's such a heavy pattern of this throughout history, for thousands of years across all cultures. They've all got this idea that gold is so very valuable, which has made it valuable through belief only, because it's not. It's another. It's all it is metal that's hard to get. It's metal that's hard to get. That is, unless you're using it for chipboards and computer AI stuff, it's actually useless. Gold is absolutely useless. It's soft. It melts easy. It's you can't make tools out of it. You can make pretty things out of it.
Yeah. Can I ask? Are you okay if I just bring up some questions? If
Yeah,
people
of course.
have got any questions,
Yeah.
is that right, Chris? Let's have a look. Have we got any questions there? Let's have a look. See if we got any. Oh, I tell you what. Cromwell got rid of that. Was the gods aliens?
Quite possibly. I think they are seriously looking at the possibility that somehow that they're the gods, or them from somewhere else are here to they're not from here, and they're not us, but they've been interfering with us. And these interactions over the years with Moses, even the Egyptian pharaohs, kings in the past, Charlemagne. I don't know if you know this, guys. Charlemagne actually declared war on the tyrants from the sky because they were ruining crops. And the French court went absolutely nuts over it. To the point there's actually a documented account that when one of these lights landed, that the people of the village surrounded them and they were going to burn the aliens alive. Now, these accounts thousands of years ago, these people didn't have the language to explain what was happening. So we're talking about alien, we're talking about technology, we're talking about electromagnetic, quantum mechanics. These people were still making fire with bits of wood. They just invented a wheel, you know. These people did not have the language to explain what they were seeing. And I believe if you look, especially in the like the Book of Enoch, especially accounts in the Old Testament themselves, they describe what we are describing now as contact experiences. This is where you're good. This is where religions, I think, spawned from, or the idea of religions. This is it. These are your gods. These are your gods, without a doubt.
This is interesting.
Either that.
Is it mono
they were all on
atomic gold that
psychedelics.
is special?
Sorry.
It's got Matthew Gribben 5817 said a good point. Is it monoatomic gold that is special?
I'd have to look that up, but I think it is. I think it's something to do with the isotope ratios. It's not. So we've got the solid gold, which we make rings and stuff. Monatomic gold, I think, is gold atoms with different particle ratios than that. I'd have to look that up, but yes, it is different. Monatomic.
I wonder
gold.
if that's the same gold that we're able to. It's meant to be good to eat. It's meant to be good for you. A certain amount of gold to eat. Gold is meant to be beneficial to our health. I'm just wondering if it is monatomic. Can't say the word even. Monatomic. Yeah, one of them. But yeah. Okay. All right. And excellent. Thank you for that, because that was I didn't think of that. I forgot about that monatomic. Yeah. Do you know what? Some words I just cannot get. I just can't get it.
The word of the week that Phil can't say.
Yeah, do you know, it just sort of, I don't know, yeah, kind of like my tongue's doing like kind of cartwheels in my mouth around that one.
Yeah, sculptor was the other one. The other week was stonemason, and he couldn't say sculptor.
That's
really funny. Oh dear, I can't say it now. Monoatomic.
Monatomic. Let me have a I'll Google that as it goes.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the stuff that we can eat.
You can eat gold, because it's inert, and I think it does have. I can't remember. I know silver's got antibiotic properties, but I'm not 100% sure because gold is edible technically.
Yeah. So you can
because it's inert.
Food. You can eat food grade high carat gold E175, which is used as a food additive. It's gold leaf. I think it's so.
Yeah.
Some cakes and things said you would have gold leaf and cocktails. I know
Sprinkles.
Gold leaf sprinkles in them. So
That's correct. Sister says it's good for your third eye also.
I would imagine so. Anything like that.
And are you kidding? You can buy it on eBay. What? Wow. Okay. Right. Okay, I'm going to bring Roxy into the picture because we're getting to that time now. All right. Because she's right. Oh, microphone. Your microphone. Yes. Yeah, that's better. What did you think of all that, Vox?
Oh yeah,
It's
no, I
interesting.
was busy looking at the gold thing. Yeah, there's loads of places you can buy it from. Mother Earth Alchemy, monoatomic gold you can buy. Yeah,
Our food,
very
monatomic gold.
interesting.
It looks like a supplement. It doesn't look like a gold leaf or anything like that.
No,
Monatomic gold actually looks like salt. Bioelectric.
Oh, Dawn said you can get a white powder also.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I'm looking at. It looks like a greyish sort of salt.
yeah.
You can get a rose colour, rose powder, monatomic gold. So it hasn't got to be that specific, like bright sun colour. I'll just do a very, very quick search on that. And gold. The theory, the theory originated in the late 20th century. So it was a Sumerian text that the Anunnaki came to Earth some time ago to mine gold, specifically a monatomic or ORM, orbitally rearranged monatomic element form of gold. They created human as a slave race. Monatomic gold was a magical, godly substance associated with great healing powers, heightened consciousness, and enhanced lifespan. The Sumerians and later Egyptians, then obviously the Israelites and so on, were aware of the substance and used gold extensively in rituals. So, it's the theory goes back a very, very long to actually pre-Sumerian times. That it was given value, it was edible in some way, shape, or form, and that it was used in decorations and rituals. But the question is why? Why would Neolithic people that hadn't even invented bronze value this so much when it was just so useless to them, unless they were mining it for something or somewhere else to go somewhere else? That it was of no, and they realised these gods and the kings go mad over this. Maybe we need to cash in on this, and it created
maybe because it is so superconductive. I mean, the Ark of the Covenant was in the actually in the Old Testament. It was because that's like a covenant between the Jews and God, the Old Testament, but it does foretell of a lot of things. It does. I'm sure it's the Old Testament that says about the Ark of the Covenant being lined with gold, and people have said it's a battery. It could be a battery or a device of some sort. We are nearly. Oh, Andy. Good night, mate. Thank you very much for coming. Appreciate that, Andy. And yeah, we are about out of time, guys. Chris, we'll have to have you back on, mate.
Anytime. Just give us a shout, Phil. I'll always jump on, no problem.
All right, lovely. And I'll check out those links you sent as well. I'll check out those. It's been a really interesting chat. Really enjoyed it. I really have, Chris.
Hope to see you all at the remote viewing presentation tomorrow. If not, I'll send you guys all the numbers, and we go from there. Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep. What's your? I'll have to send us your link, and I'll post it. Okay.
All right, then, mate. No problem.
I might do that. All right then. And other than that, yeah. Right. Rox, do you want to say goodbye?
We're done.
I think so.
Yeah, I think we're done.
It's been fantastic, and I think we need to go quick.
Yeah, I do. All right, you take care. Thank you, everybody.
Appreciate it, everyone. And good night.
Bye. Good night, everyone. See you later. Bye now.